right? Today we're jumping into a really fundamental question, one that gets to the very heart of power and trust. How do we make absolutely sure that the people in charge are actually answerable to, well, to us?
I mean, it's a super old question, right? But it's never been more relevant. Think about it this way. Let's say your local government decides to spend millions of your tax dollars on some big new project. We give them that power. We give them our money. So how do we know they're going to use it correctly? That is the exact problem that the whole idea of public accountability is built to solve.
And look, the stakes here are massive. This isn't just some dry, bureaucratic term. Public accountability, it's literally the cornerstone of any healthy democracy. It's the bedrock, the very foundation for trust between citizens and the government that serves them. Okay, so if that's the problem, what's the solution? Well, it's this powerful concept we've been talking about, public accountability. It's the system designed to give us those answers. So what does that actually mean in plain English? At its very core, it's the duty, the obligation for public officials to answer for what they do. That city council, they can't just go build a park. They have to be able to explain why they made that decision, justify the cost, and then, take responsibility for how it all turns out. And this isn't just some vague hope or a handshake deal. It's a formal, structured relationship. You've got the accountor, that's the city council in our example, and then you have the accountee, that's us, the public. It's actually built right into the system. So what does the design of this whole thing look like? Let's dig into the blueprint and check out the fundamental principles that make it all work. You can really break it down into 4 key pillars. First up is stewardship. The council is just a caretaker of our money, not the owner of it. Then you've got responsibility. They have to answer for how that project goes, whether it's good or bad. Third, there's transparency. We have to be able to see the contracts, see the plans. And finally, and this is a big one, enforceability. There have to be real consequences if rules get broken. And these principles, they don't just apply in one single place. Accountability is this huge umbrella concept that kind of weaves its way through almost every part of public life, and it shows up in a bunch of different forms. So, for instance, you've got political accountability. That's when the mayor who pushed for the park has to answer for it come election time. Then there's financial accountability, tracking the budget with audits, and you also have social accountability, where citizen groups and the media are keeping a close eye on everything. Each one is a different angle of oversight. Okay, so we've got the blueprint, and we know all the different areas where it applies. But how does it actually get put into practice? Let's open up the toolbox and look at the specific tools used to make sure accountability actually happens. I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? It's one thing to have these great principles on paper, but how do you make them real? What are the actual tools that give accountability some teeth? Well, here are some of the heavy hitters. You've got independent auditing bodies, which are basically like financial detectives digging into that park's budget. You've got things like parliamentary oversight meetings, where representatives can grill the project managers directly. And then you have these incredibly powerful tools like freedom of information laws, which let any citizen request to see the actual contracts. And here's the really crucial part. This whole system is designed to work from 2 directions at the same time. You've got the internal checks inside the government, like those audits, but what's just as important is the external pressure from the outside. A free press reporting on delays or regular citizens demanding answers at a town hall. You really need both for it to work effectively. And that brings us to what might be the most important piece of this entire puzzle. Because it's not just about what governments and officials do, it's about the absolutely vital role that you play. You are not just a spectator here. Think about it. Every single vote you cast is an act of political accountability. When you support investigative journalism or just engage in public debate, you're adding to that external pressure. Using those freedom of information laws to see the park's budget or joining a local watchdog group, these are all real, tangible ways that citizens get involved. At the end of the day, the watchers, they're being watched by us. So let's land the plane here. Public accountability is fundamentally a promise. It's a promise that a democracy makes to its people. A promise of responsibility, of transparency, and integrity. And the final question, the one I want to leave you with, is to look around your own community, your own country, and just ask yourself, is that promise being kept?